Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is for Jonathan Lindsay because he sent me a couple things and he asked for this and a few other reviews specifically, and one of them being Pulp Fiction. I actually thought I had this on Blu-ray, but I have this on DVD. But I'm fine with the DVD. Picture quality looked good. I'm surprised there hasn't been another special edition with more features, because these features, like a new documentary on the film, because these are when the film came out. Again, I'm surprised there isn't a new retrospective, new interviews with John Travolta, Sam Jackson, like the people. I mean, it's a film that is definitely a classic. Pulp Fiction, wonderful movie. I don't really have much problems with this. It's funny, the film is 2.5 hours long. I forgot how long it was, but it didn't feel that long because the dialogue is entertaining to listen to. Quentin Tarantino's direction. This is right after Reservoir Dogs. And after this, he would work on films like From Dusk Till Dawn, writing and co-starring in that. And what more can you say about Pulp Fiction that hasn't been said before? John Travolta, Samuel Jackson, Bruce Willis, Uma Thurman. You have Harvey Keitel, Christopher Walken, Ving Rhames. A great cast. It also includes Eric Stoltz. It includes... How the hell did I forget his fucking name? How did I forget his name? Tim Roth. That's the name I was thinking of. Amanda Plummer, Rosanna Arquette. Now, what's funny is the producer, Lawrence Bender, and Quentin Tarantino, they met because Lawrence Bender had produced a slasher film called Intruder. And it was directed by Scott Spiegel. And Scott Spiegel became friends with Quentin. So Tarantino liked Intruder and said, well, who produced it? Well, my other buddy, Lawrence Bender. So Quentin and Lawrence Bender met, and then they worked on a few films together. And when you watch the film again, just all the stuff that happens where the way it's filmed, it's not A to B to C. It's like, you know what? There's no rules in films. Let's take C and put that at the beginning. And then let's put A and put that at the end. Or maybe like third way before the end. Let's switch it around. Because it's film. If you do it well, that's the key. If you do it well, you can do anything. And this was done very well. And you have a great cast and very snappy dialogue that people remember to this day, where the conversations just are interesting. And a great soundtrack. Which got parodied in various things. Even Space Jam. Think about that. Space Jam, you have, I think, like Elmer Fudd, was it Sylvester the Cat? Like two of them having the guns pretend to be like the two guys in Pulp Fiction with the music from Pulp Fiction. Think about that. Space Jam, Looney Tunes are referencing an R-rated movie where Ving Rhames gets raped in the ass and Uma Thurman gets a shot in her heart of adrenaline because she overdosed on drugs. Think about that for a sec. Fucking Space Jam. And so many other stuff referenced Pulp Fiction. It became a pop culture movie. I mean, how many times have you heard the Royale with cheese? That's what they call a quarter pounder with cheese because they don't have the metric system. You know, the whole metric system. They don't know what the fuck a quarter pounder is. What do they call a Big Mac? They call it Le Big Mac. What they call Whopper? I don't know. I didn't go into Burger King. Right? Conversations that you would have with your friends. It's conversations that doesn't just pull the plot along like a carriage. And that makes it fun and makes the running time go by quicker, go by faster. And that's the Quentin Tarantino I miss. Not the fucking Quentin Tarantino in Inglourious Basterds, where it feels seriously 30 fucking minutes of the film is a fucking Nazi talking to a fucking farmer and then kills the farmer. And there's like 30 fucking minutes in the film. I don't remember a goddamn bit of dialogue said. And it's in one fucking place, one fucking scene. Even this film didn't do that. From Dusk Till Dawn didn't do that, which he wrote. But for some reason he did in Inglourious Basterds, I don't know fucking why. And I like Death Proof, but one flaw I could say for Death Proof is the pacing. Right, the idea is interesting where you think this is the main characters, but some of the characters could have been written a lot better instead of that one woman. I'm gonna tap that ass. Go tap your ass. How about you shut your ass up? Again, I like Death Proof, but it's to me it is a flawed film, but still I think a good film. That's the thing with Tarantino. Like Reservoir Dogs, I like. This is definitely one of my favorites of his. I like Jackie Brown. I love From Dusk Till Dawn. Like if anything Tarantino was involved with, my favorite would be From Dusk Till Dawn. 4 Rooms, I haven't seen that in decades, so I don't remember a damn thing about 4 Rooms. He directed One Bit in Sin City. I like Sin City, the first one. The sequel sucked. The Inglourious Basterds I did not like. Django Unchained, I was mixed on. There's a lot of good elements, but I think, again, that's a film that's too long in the tooth. Yeah, I do, but hey, it has the song from They Call Me Trinity. People might not know what the hell that is, but I do, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. Django Unchained, I would say, overall, I like more than dislike, because I watched it again a few months ago. I'm like, you know what, there's, maybe with the fast forward button, there's some good, a lot of good elements in this. Jamie Foxx, Leonardo DiCaprio. But it just that's a film where the pacing I felt it. This I did not. I like the Grindhouse experience, but I would say I like Robert Rodriguez's Planet Terror more than Death Proof. But I didn't mind Death Proof. His new one, I saw the teaser. It didn't do anything for me because it's Leo talking about loads, and then Brad Pitt. How carry your loads? You mean the load in your mouth? Really, Tarantino? That's where you're writing? That's like bad Kevin Smith writing. Load. Come on, man. So the teaser didn't do it. The teaser was disappointing. I mean, I'm curious about the film, but if it's like the teaser, I'm like, fuck. Talk about loads for like 30 fucking seconds of your minute or so trailer. What the fuck? You don't have them talking about fucking loads. That'd be like, instead of them talking about the Royale with cheese, oh, you took a shit, and then what happens if you take another shit on top of the shit? If the conversation was in that direction, then this wouldn't be a fucking classic, in my opinion. But I mean, the movie's broken up. I was thinking of other Tarantino films. Kill Bill. I love the Kill Bill films. Really enjoy it. I'm surprised. I know there's. I think overseas they have it, or someone did a fan version of it. But I remember there was a point where they don't connect the films together, so you just see it as one movie. I'm surprised they didn't do that in the U.S. If they did, I must have missed it. But I would say if I had to pick one favorite Tarantino film he directed, would be Kill Bill Volume 1. I would say it's Kill Bill Volume 1, or unless you think of the two films as one single, then okay, Kill Bill, and then Pulp Fiction. And then, but yeah, if it's something you wrote, From Dusk Till Dawn is number 1. But stuff you directed, Kill Bill, Pulp Fiction, And then probably Jackie Brown or Death Proof for number 3. But anyway, it's 11 minutes I haven't talked about, but people know about this. They know the great dialogue, how it's in sections. You have the Tim Roth, Amanda Plummer robbing the diner scene, which then that's called back at the end of the film, which was a very interesting way to do it. In fact, if you watch the film again and you watch in that beginning scene, you'll notice John Travolta's character get up and walk, and it'll cut, and he's walking back wearing the silly T-shirt. And then if you listen closely, there's a moment where you hear Sam Jackson's voice. So in a rewatch, I'm like, wow, that's cool. I never noticed that until we watch it just now. Oh, okay, it does connect to the end of the film. And Sam Jackson, John Travolta, which Tarantino really wanted John Travolta. He's like, I like him as an actor. He really liked Blowout. And he's like, oh, this is a good actor that isn't utilized like he should. And this Travolta catapulted his career again, thanks to this, which led into films like Broken Arrow, which I love, among others, and then Battlefield Earth kind of put a kibosh on that. Sam Jackson would go on to work with Tarantino quite a bit, and Jackie Brown, and he was the piano guy in Kill Bill. I think you saw him more in Kill Bill Volume 2. I don't think he was in Grindhouse. I'm actually surprised he wasn't in Grindhouse. Now that I think about it. But Sam Jackson, easily one of his best roles is as Julius. I mean, just the conversations, the way the Tarantino handles the direction. Moments where they get ready to do a hit, and the camera stays at the door, but they walk off into the distance, and then they have a conversation about, this lady got a foot massage and got thrown out the window by their boss. And one's like, what's the big deal? It's a foot massage. And then Travolta goes, oh, it's the same ballpark. And Sam Jackson goes, it's not in the same fucking ballpark. It's not in the same ring. It's a foot massage. Yeah, a foot massage. It's not the same as sticking your tongue in the holiest of holies. And if you watch it again, that whole scene is like 2 minutes with no cuts. And it's Sam and Travolta talking. I'm like, I didn't noticing, watch it again. It's very well directed and original, how it was differently structured, and the snappy dialogue, and again, scenes like that, going for 2 minutes without cutting. Like I said, leaving the camera at the door and going towards and talking, and then coming back. And even some of the supporting characters you see are familiar faces. Like when they go in and they need to get the suitcase, one of the person is Frank Whaley, which I've seen in movies. I know he was in Vacancy. I think the film was called Swimming with Sharks. I know Mike OCP, he talked about it. Frank Whaley is definitely a guy I've seen in other stuff. And then another guy back is Phil Lamar, who's on Mad TV, and he's been in other movies and shows, and a voice actor. And I recognize that guy. You have the suitcase that opens up, and you don't see what it is, but it glows, so you don't know if it's gold, if it's... There's so many rumors and theories. It's gold bars, it's Ving Rhames' soul, it's the fucking thing from Repo Man that was in the trunk of that car with Emilio Estevez, but I got put in a suitcase, it's that. Like, all sorts of crazy theories. But that's why Tarantino didn't show what it was, to make people talk. You have the appearance of the Big Kahuna Burger, which would show up in other Tarantino films. You have Sam doing that great Ezekiel 25:17. I actually had to write it down, but I mean, it's a great speech that he gives. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who, in the name of charity and goodwill, shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper, and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. Then you have segments where Travolta goes out with the boss's mistress, played by Uma Thurman. This cool, I don't know if they really have this kind of diner, but the 50s diner where it's actually Steve Buscemi now I think about it. He has a role in this as Buddy Holly taking their order. And one person's Marilyn Monroe, there's people singing. I would love to go into. I'm sure there has to be bars like this. Like, can you go into a diner? It's like an '80s diner. I guarantee there are, but I wish there was like a major chain. Like you go in, you can just watch '80s movies or '80s movie trailers, and while you're having your dinner, your burger, and I don't know what the hell you have for food. But even then, they have food like based on like the Back to the Future platter. You have one dinner, you can go back for another, but only one time. And have like I don't know, menus named after 80s movies. But that was I like the way it was. I'm trying to think the terminology on it. The set design of the 50s timer looked cool, and how Tarantino goes through the whole thing to show the whole thing with no cuts, no fucking cut in every 5 milliseconds. And again, the dialogue is fun. Uma Thurman talking about this pilot she was on called Fox Force 5. Then she gets they do the dance, which that dance has been fucking everything. Leslie Nielsen did it, and what was it, Spy Hard? I think it was Spy Hard. He did like a lot of do that dance and this. Even the animated film Ants did that. Again, stuff that would go on in the pop culture history. And then they go back, and she gets fucking overdosed, and he has to get to Eric Stoltz and adrenaline shot to the heart. And then you cut to the next segment, Bruce Willis. This is when Bruce Willis actually gave a fuck. Bruce Willis actually gave a shit. I miss that Bruce Willis that gave a shit. And he plays the boxer named Butch, and has this girlfriend who's sort of a. If she was an animal, she'd be a mouse. Like I don't know. She just. I don't know why. For some reason, I saw her and her personality just made me think of a mouse. Yeah, I know that doesn't make any damn sense, but she wasn't annoying or anything. She seemed sweet. It just for some reason just made me think of a mouse. It was so quiet and just squeeze. Oh, of course, before that you have the watch, where it's a flashback to Bruce Willis's character when he was a kid, and Christopher Walken gives the kid his father's watch. And Christopher Walken talked about, I had to stick up my ass. Now I'm giving it to you. That speaks for itself. I mean, you have Christopher Walken have a dialogue, a big speech, which leads to him admitting he had his watch up his ass, and yet it works in the movie. So I give Tarantino credit where credit's due. He made that work. And again, with Bruce Willis, his character was supposed to throw a fight. He didn't. Ving Rhames is looking for him. John Travolta's character gets killed, which I think when I first saw it, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming. Because he's the star of the film and he gets killed. Which even though he's a hitman, so it's Bruce Willis defending himself, but it's like, oh, you kind of feel bad as well. And one thing leads to another. He sees Ving Rhames. They get in a car crash. They get into this scummy place where they tie Bruce Willis and Ving Rhames up. As I bring out the gimp. Well, the gimp's sleeping. Well, we better wake him up. and they start raping Ving Rhames' character. Again, not something you would expect. Uh, not something you would expect first time seeing this. But you know, as someone once put it, some of these guys do bad things, but then they don't really seem like evil people, other than these rapist assholes. Which I forget the actor's name, but I do recognize some of those guys as well. Again, I forget their names though, but I know I've seen them in other stuff. And it shows like Bruce Willis, maybe his redemption, because when he decided to, he was supposed to throw the fight, he didn't. But then he finds out later he killed the guy he was boxing. So maybe this is like a redemption for him. He took a life, now he's going to save a life. Or maybe it just shows that he's a decent guy. And when you think about it, it shows that his doing the right thing works out for him at the end. That's not always the case. There's plenty of movies where someone does the right thing and they still get fucked over. And I was like, well, that's a shitty message. People, that's reality. This is a movie. People forget that. It's a movie. Sometimes, yeah, you can have that response be adequate. Sometimes, though, other times, you just call bullshit on it. But I love him choosing the weapons of, it's a hammer, and a baseball bat, and a chainsaw, no, a samurai sword. And just fucks the people up. Saves Ving Rhames, and it helps him out at the end, because Ving Rhames says, fine, you know what? You leave, but you don't come back. So now they won't be chased and they won't be hunted. So in essence, it worked out for Bruce Willis. So he gets his girl and they go off at the end. Then we go back to the hitman who killed the guy, Frank Whaley, and then they get shot at, they don't get hit, and Sam Jackson's like, oh, it must be divine God, and Travolta doesn't buy into it. So again, maybe it's a little message where, you know, Sam believes, thus his character survives in the movie, but Travolta doubts it, and as we saw earlier, he decides not to get out of the hitman game and gets killed. So yeah, Sam Jackson made the right choice. And then they accidentally shoot Phil Lamar in the head in the car. Definitely the most graphic part of the movie. And then they need someone to clean it up, and they get the wolf, Harvey Keitel. It's like there's a guy with no head in the car, and they've gone to Sam Jackson's buddy's place, played by Quentin Tarantino. Now I gotta admit, when I saw this, it was taped on a VHS tape, and the last 30 minutes were cut off. So I never saw how the last 30 minutes worked out. Not them cleaning the car, wearing the shirts, you know, the new clothes, the diner at the end. I never saw that stuff for the longest time until the DVD came out, and I got it on DVD. So I think it's one of those things where it might have been like I had like, back in the day you had these VHS tapes and you would tape a movie, and sometimes you have 4 hours on a tape, sometimes you have 6 hours on a tape. So if you tape 3 movies, it must have been one of those times where it went over. It was like 2 hours and blank minutes, and then it cut off. So the ending got cut off. So yeah, for the longest time I didn't know how the Pulp Fiction ended. But Harvey Keitel does a good job as the wolf. They clean up the mess up. Tarantino did fine in his role. And then they get cleaned up, put on the shirts, go in the diner. We're right back where we were at the beginning. But now with those two characters talking about how Sam Jackson's going to quit, and he's going to walk the earth like Kane in Kung Fu. What do you mean walk the earth? And Sam Jackson decides to quit. And the first thing he does is when that couple decide to rob, Sam Jackson talks him down instead of shooting them. And talks him out and lets him leave and lets him go. And then they head out and then the movie ends. So again, it was cool how it ends where it began. It was an interesting way of making a film because it wasn't a typical thing back then. Even nowadays, they don't really do a lot. I can't think of a lot of movies. I mean, yeah, Mementos switches things up. But there's not a lot of films that switch that up because it's a hard thing to do. And if you do it badly, it's going to be terrible and confusing and convoluted. But Tarantino knew what he wanted. And you have, like I said, great cast, spot on dialogue, cool soundtrack, a nice cinematography, set design, like I said, the look of the 50s diner. At times when they're driving, they have the old school like screen projection. Which, hell, that looked better than new movies nowadays. Like when I did my Jean-Claude Van Damme movie marathon, I reviewed Pound of Flesh, and you have this horrible green screen of when they're driving cars in the background. I thought it looked better in Pulp Fiction, and that's like old like stuff that would be used in the 30s or 50s or something. And just wonderful direction. How he utilized the camera, how the scene was edited when Travolta's character shoots up heroin. Again, the soundtrack fit the film like a glove, the songs used. Even little bits like when Bruce Willis is singing "Flowers on the Wall," that don't bother me at all. Smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo, which Bruce Willis would reference in Die Hard with a Vengeance, the next time he would work with Sam Jackson, which that was 95, year after this, which I reviewed the Die Hard films. I love Die Hard with a Vengeance. And he's running with Sam Jackson in Die Hard 3, and he's like, smoking cigarettes, watching Captain Kangaroo. So I thought that was a nice callback to this movie. So anytime I hear that line, I think of Die Hard with a Vengeance now. Love that Die Hard with a Vengeance. But yeah, this is a damn good flick. And it's funny how in 1994 you had Forrest Gump, The Shawshank Redemption, and Pulp Fiction. And I like all three. And Forrest Gump was the one that won for Best Picture. I know nowadays people are like, what the fuck? Why did Forrest Gump win? I can understand that, but I still enjoy Forrest Gump. I do think it's a great flick. I know nowadays people say it's a shitty film, which I disagree with. But I mean, it was a hell of a year. I'm not sure which I would put. Pulp Fiction. I would say Shawshank Redemption. I would say should have won. Although, if this won, I wouldn't be mad either. But yeah, I've talked for like 30 minutes. I keep showing this because I want to do something with my hands. I guess that's why I keep doing that. I know people get annoyed because I keep showing it. Like play drinking game. How many times I do it? By now you're drunk because I did it just like 15 times now. But so that my hands have something to do instead of just sitting there. But the DVD, Pulp Fiction, the Fast documentary, which is a documentary from back in the day. Deleted scenes, not much to run about. The Charlie Rose Show interview Tarantino did with Charlie Rose back in the day. Siskel and Ebert at the movies. They talked about Reservoir Dogs and this film on their show. Production design featurette, behind the scenes montage. Interviews from the Independent Spirit Awards. Palme d'Or acceptance speech. Articles analyzing the film. Trailers from around the world. TV spots. Still galleries. But yeah, I know Tarantino doesn't do a lot of commentaries, but just do a fucking commentary for the film. Do a new documentary on the film. It more than deserves that. But yeah, it's a nice looking set. Folds out like this. Colorful. You do have this is the diner they went to, Jack Rabbit Slim's, and they actually have a menu like actually I thought they would be more creative with the names of these. It's just sliced ham or roast beef, hot sliced ham or roast beef, chef salad, tuna salad. Yeah, I thought they'd be more creative with that now that I think about it. So I thought they have like crazy names. So I guess really this is pointless. But okay, don't have it in there, okay. Save $7 by mail when you upgrade to the Pulp Fiction Collector's Edition, which this is the Collector's Edition, so oh yeah, proof of purchase that you bought it, and it's $5. Between August 20, 2002 and January 31st, 2003. Well, yeah, that's a bit too late for that. Or the soundtrack. $2 refund. A bit too late for that. And a booklet. Pretty cool booklet. They don't really do that nowadays. They don't have booklets, things of that nature. Article from Time Magazine. Entertainment Weekly, which gave it an A. Soundtrack selection. Jungle Boogie by Kool and the Gang. Let's Stay Together by Al Green. Son of a Preacher Man. Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon by Urge Overkill. Flowers on the Wall by the Statler Brothers. Surf Rider by the Lively Ones. And of course the main theme, as people call Pulp Fiction, Miserlou, performed by Dick Dale and his Deltones. Anyway, great film, classic. I don't really have anything bad to say about it, other than it deserves a new special edition, in my opinion. Anyway, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.